What is an infinity space? An infinity space is a place where people could come of any age, any background, any ability, any type of skill, and they could come together to one common place to be able to have something centered around one passion or one interest. An example of a passion would be rock climbing, indoor rock climbing to be specific. And you need to know a certain amount of extensive knowledge to be able to participate. You have to know where to buy shoes, what type of shoes to buy, or rent, because most places, such as Stone Summit, let you rent them whenever you come in and you purchase your day pass or have your membership. And you need to know what type of harness to wear. You need to know sometimes what kind of gear you need. And you really need a chalk bag. And you need chalk because when you are using your hands to be able to grip handholds, your hands have to be able to be chalky so that there's no type of sweat or grease keeping you from climbing. And that is essential. You also have to know the basics of climbing. You need to know how to grip a handhold. You need to know how to attach yourself to the rope, to self-belay, and you need to know how to put a harness on. And in the classroom, to relate to this, you have to know how to use technology. You have to know how to use a specific type of technology to be able to understand to participate. And you have to know a certain amount of intensive knowledge too to be able to participate. And in indoor rock climbing, it's important to have critical thinking skills to solve a quote-unquote problem. It is what the section of the wall is called when you're climbing it. I will show you an example. This is what you call a problem. It's the ones, there's problems all over the wall. But an example would be this pink one. So you would start down here and you would start climbing using only the pink ones. You would only use those to be able to climb up. And there will be a certain level of difficulty with that solid color at the very bottom to tell you what level of climb this is. And you can also get lead certified, which means that you can lead different expositions and go outside of the gym and lead them. Or when you're in the gym, you can help lead the gym and you can belay anybody that you want or anyone that needs help. It doesn't have to be somebody that works there at the place. It can just be anybody as long as you're lead certified. And you have to be belayed certified as well to be able to belay someone, which would be what this person is doing right here. And there's a rope right here. It is key to participate when you rock climb, because if you don't rock climb, then you're not going to learn how your body is able to move and how you need to use your legs more than you need to use your arms to be able to climb. And so there's different types of participation that go into it. And the more participation that you have, the more likely you're able to get better and the more likely you're able to geek out on how you just totally solved a problem. And when it comes to the genres of participation, a lot of it involves you hanging out with people and having a partner. It's really, really essential to have a partner when it comes to rock climbing because you need someone that will be there to encourage you, to keep you accountable, that will help you whenever you're having a problem, solving a problem, and they sometimes will even know previously how to solve that problem. And they want to help you and they want to help lead you in that. And it's really essential to be able to build that community there. And you can, and hanging out is important. And being able to figure out how your body works best is important when it comes to that rock climbing. And you can gain access and status in the space. The more you climb, the more often you climb, and how successful you are on hard problems you get, the more you can gain status. And you can also gain status by participating in competitions or leading rock climbing on trips and going outside, honestly, and being able to lead something. You can honestly gain status by how good you are. And when it comes to leadership and it comes to content and design, there are people who are able to lead and be able to take the knowledge that they have taken tactically and be able to share it with others and be able to lead others and be able to communicate with them and connect more on this passion that they have. Because in rock climbing, there are different types of designs. All of these over here on the wall, all over the wall, these are different problems that people have come up with, and they change frequently. They're not something that's always the same. You could go next week and there might be a new problem. And that's what's really cool, is that there are people that are able to create their own content, be able to create their own design, and be able to use that as a resource to other people and help them and lead them into being able to succeed and being able to climb those difficult problems. And also, there are no quote-unquote bosses when it comes to leadership in a rock climbing gym. There is nobody that's in charge, but there are partners, like I said, and that's what's really cool, is that there's no one in there that is better than anyone else. They are in there because they love to rock climb. They are in there because they want to work out. They're in there because they want to be able to have fun and be able to honestly just help out their friend and just be able to do really cool things. And these are the different levels that are in rock climbing, and they're essential to being able to know what to do. And it's important to be able to share that with other people, the different types of numbers. Like a 5-1 is pretty easy. And it's a section where there's a large handhold or a foothold or something that is suitable for a beginner. An example would be this one right here, this one right here, or this one down here, or right over here. The bigger the handhold, the easier that it is. And this is the handhold right here. And those are footholds, which are really important as well. And here are different people in competitions and being able to cheer each other on. And so why am I talking about affinity spaces in the first place? Why are they important? And why should they be integrated into a classroom? And why is technology and media so important in an affinity space? Well, technology and media can maximize the advantage in the classroom because it gives students a way to be able to create their own content for a specific project. And technology gives them access to different portals, and it gives them the latest updates, gives them reviews, gives them interviews, gives them a way to be able to get details and strategies to different guides, and it's essential for teachers to allow this teaching to go on in their classroom. You never know. Your student could be honestly better at teaching a new technology than you, and that's okay. And learning in an affinity space helps us rethink classrooms because many classrooms are not affinity spaces. They are not places where people feel comfortable and feel like they are on the same level, or they feel that there is just someone better than them. And so an affinity space is somewhere that people can just come and enjoy like a specific passion. And an example would be using Minecraft, or an example would be using a different type of the game in the classroom that everyone has an interest in, or those who have that interest are able to show that interest and be able to create a place for open communication and create a place where there's no hierarchy, just like in infinity spaces. How is the knowledge of the space dispersed? Consider both the individual and the distributed knowledge. And in a classroom, the knowledge is distributed by communicating with other students. Once they've learned something, they are able to take that information and share it with other students. There's an equal level of knowledge being shared. They both feel a great sense of community. The content is being dispersed by interacting with one another, and it gives students a chance to share something and share a value that they might not get normally. They're able to feel like they're needed, and they're able to feel like, wow, something that I know is able to be useful, and they're able to be tactile with it. They're able to share that knowledge and be able to disperse it throughout with other people and be able to help create different ways that they are able to take in that information. And something that's really important in an infinity space is being able to experience, to use the knowledge of the place that's being learned through experience. And in a classroom, students learn best by themselves sometimes or in groups. And being able to come up with how they were able to do it and how they were able to go along with the game for a lesson, the students must try. They must be able to sometimes be hands-on. And sometimes there are learners out there that don't even know that they are hands-on learners. And so what a great way to be able to show them how they're able to learn and be able to show that that passion that they have can be shown. And the student will already be interested in the subject before the experience if it's an infinity space, because it is a place where it's centered around passion, and it will motivate the students to learn on their own. There are multiple forms of participation as well that are valid in this space, and participation is key. If they don't participate, then they won't learn. In peripheral and central times of participation, they're okay. It just depends on what type of participation it is and what type of activity it is. But you really need to be hands-on to be able to learn, to be able to enjoy it, to be able to eventually geek out on it. And there are different genres of participation too. And that could be hanging out with one another, messing around, geeking out. But when it comes like in a classroom, I mean, you're hanging out with one another and you're sometimes messing around with one another. And sometimes you do better with different games or different apps or different lessons when you mess around with them sometimes. Sometimes you come out on the better end. And sometimes that participation can turn out to them learning more than what you anticipated. And it could draw out to them being able to teach their other co-students. And that's what's really cool. And they're able to push one another, and they're able to encourage one another when they participate. They're able to center around this goal and be able to push for it. And so, what routes exist to be able to gain status in this space? Well, you can gain status in the climbing gym by participating in multiple different problems. But in a classroom, when it comes to gaining status, it could be helping one another. It could honestly be being an expert in a certain app and being able to honestly teach the class with it. Be able to let your students step in to that role of leadership that exists and be able to help them to create that content and be able to distribute that knowledge to their other co-students and be able to show that what they know is valuable and what that they are giving is something that people are going to want to take in. And that is so important. And there are different forms of leadership that exist in a space like this. I mean, when it comes to being a teacher, you're more like considered the boss. But in an infinity space, a teacher is not considered a boss. It is someone who, there is no boss, everyone is on the same level, and students are even able to possibly teach the teacher and teach the classroom, especially, like I said, if they specialize in one type of technology that they are really, really good in. And that is okay to be able to allow your students to step into that spot of leadership so that they are able to not just better themselves, but better their other students. And that can also encourage them to be able to want to become leaders and be able to share the knowledge that they have gained and disperse it throughout with other people. And in the characteristics of an infinity space, there isn't any pressure. There is only a way to help each other to be able to achieve higher levels. And in the classroom, there needs to be more students that are able to feel welcome, to be able to feel like what they are learning is something that's valuable and something that they want to gain in. And there is no type of segregation, no type of separation due to ability, skills, or grade level in an infinity space. There's no discrimination. And so it's so important to be able to make your classroom an infinity space And in an infinity space, we should want that for our kids. We